Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, you know why? My fault. I have my Spotify on. Let me turn it off. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can hear you. How you doing?
Good.
What's happening with school?
Oh, I'm in winter break right now.
Okay. So remind me again, because I know you said it once when I asked. When do you graduate?
May of 2024.
Okay. Very cool. What are your plans?
I'm not sure yet.
Oh, just gonna be a bum and live off your parents. I get it. That's the way it is. Okay. I've been there. Okay. No, okay, that's cool. So we should have another talk about that, right? The closer you get, you gotta have, there's what I call paying the rent jobs, right? And then there's what you want to do. And if you're fantastically lucky and driven and work your ass off, and and by lucky I mean you find something to love doing, right? And then you can get a job there, but maybe it doesn't happen right away. But meantime, you got to pay the rent,
Yeah.
right? So what is it? Those are the things that I think are important. But you got to figure it out, and especially if you find something that you love, you don't want to give it up. Doesn't mean you can do it right away, but it means you have an idea, right, of what fulfills you. All right, young people, Rodrigo, Giovanni, what's up?
Hey, what's it called? Sorry, it's because you went to the bathroom real quick. He'll be back right now.
Okay, I don't know if that was what do young people call it? TMI, too much information.
Oh, my fault. I just wasn't sure if you were asking if where he's at. My fault.
No. I what I would say is all you have to say, because I say this on Zooms, I say, oh, biology break.
Oh, okay.
That's the smooth way of saying it. Okay. All right, people. Thank you for coming. I'm gonna start sharing right now. Everybody got their notebook, right? Everybody got their notebook. Hold it up. Hold it up. All right. I want proof, especially with Giovanni. Okay. No offense, Giovanni, but All right. So here we go. It's a new year coming up. So what I want is you guys to interrupt me in this meeting when I'm not clear, or if you have an idea or you disagree or whatever, right? I want to be a little more productive with these meetings. All right, so here we go. Share the window. Let's start with the agenda. All right, everybody see that, right? All right, so
Yes.
we're gonna start by number one, the 90-day password exchange. Thank you. I've modified the Google admin, and so every 90 days, PRCC staff, everyone has to change their password. 90 days is 3 months theoretically, right? And I've made it so they have to be a minimum of 8 characters and a maximum of 20. All right, so this helps, I think, maintain, because I do believe Macs, apart from PCs, which I hate in terms of malware, viruses, it's easy to catch them. On the Macs, I think it's going to be more easier, unfortunately, in the coming year, right? So my point is that's why every machine gets AVG antivirus software, which already, we want them, the users, to run it, etc. All right, but it's also, we don't want their passwords to be easy to guess, which is why I made it 8 and stuff. Now, there'll always be 1 or 2 exceptions. If you take your internship seriously, right, you should know as an IT paraprofessional, there'll always be exceptions to the rule. And I say this because I can't conceive in my wildest dreams of Juan Calderon having an 8 to 20 character password that he remembers. It's just, or Jose Lopez for that, right? And now it's conceivable to me that Glenda may do that for Jose, right? So my point, those are the exceptions, right? The same thing with machines. Giovanni and Rodrigo and I have been working on, they've done most of the work on finding out who has two machines, a laptop and a desktop, but nobody on this team can explain to me how they got it. Why the fuck do they have two machines? Because it's not one or two, it's like 12 people, right? So in other words, I don't, and the thing I want to be clear, coming into this new year, and Rodrigo, you're the new guy, I don't really operate on it's your fault, blaming people. I want to get stuff done. If there's an obstacle, you guys tell me, or Xiomara, or both of us, and we try to work it out. Now, that doesn't mean that you are not responsible for stuff. And the whole point of making you people professionals to the point where somebody will hire you is you get stuff done, you get it done well to the best of the ability. And if you don't know, what do? Leslie?
Ask or
Absolutely. Do not be afraid to ask. Do not be afraid to say, I don't know, but I'll find out, right? Like, look at, we joke around in our little circle here with Xiomara. And I can tell you, I'm a really smart fucking guy. For real. You guys know that by now. But I'm the first one to say, I don't know. Because if you don't know, you don't know. You're just holding stuff up from getting done. You look bad if you try to toss somebody under the bus. Oh, I don't know, that's not my job. It doesn't matter what your job is, right? You're part of a team. So Leslie, if you could say, can you help me change my password? Okay, if you don't know how to do it, you're going to find out because you're still part of the comms team. There is no social media team, right? There's a comms team. So the same thing. If you guys get asked something, right, by Leslie, can you help out with this? And it's social media or it's something that she usually does, right? And you guys got to do it to your best of your ability, right? That's my point, right? We got to be better at that. All right, so let me go on. So the next point, apart from the password, is in February, we're going to try to implement mandatory two-step verification. You know what that is? Rodrigo.
What's it called? I mean, one example I could provide is like my Instagram, where basically it sends a verification code to my phone number, and like so I could like access it. Pretty much another form of better security, basically.
Right. So the point here is this: there are a couple ways to do it. Right. Sends you a text, right, to your phone, or, and I prefer the second way, you download
Email?
something called Google Authenticator, which spins out random numbers that you type in on your computer or on your laptop, whatever, right? Having said that, there's always a lot of pushback, right? There's always a lot of pushback. So we need to educate people because it's coming, right? I insist that all PRCC computers, again, there may be one or two exceptions out of, I don't even know how many people we employ, but we have to be the example. Okay.
How will we implement? Like, will we have to go through all devices, or how are we gonna go about that?
No. Well, so the users at one point won't be able to log in unless they do two-step,
Okay.
right? So we have to be able to walk them through and know both on laptops, desktops, and whoever has a company phone, right? Hey, here's how you do it, no problem, blah, blah, blah. Download this.
Okay.
If they have a company phone, a laptop, or a desktop, they must do what we say.
Okay.
Nobody gets a pass on this. And I think Leslie and Gio and Rodrigo, to the extent that you're still here, not that I'm contemplating firing you guys, right? But you have to be more authoritative. In other words, you guys aren't the boss of anybody, but you have to, if we say, if Alejandro says this and we agree on it, then nobody gets to tell you different. Right? You'll never be in the position where Jose or Juan will contradict me. So that's a very good thing. Right? Now, Program directors will because they don't know any better, right? So that's my point. So as of now, officially, I approve all tech purchases. And I'll give you an example. Janice Santiago just said in an email, I need to buy 4 more computers. I'm thinking Chromebooks. And I appreciate the suggestion. But in the end, I want to know the job description or what the computers are for. And then I will say, okay, even if they have the money in their budget, because that's the other thing. People say, oh, I have the money in the budget. I get to spend it the way I want. No, you do not. Not when it comes to tech, right? Because then people buy computers that are too expensive, like MacBook Pros instead of MacBook Airs, right? Or they want 2 computers, or everybody wants a color fucking printer, right? Anyway, that's my point. So the whole point of being able to build profiles, right? Like I believe right now, 85% of the PRCC users can make do with a MacBook Air, either an M1 or an M2 chip. That's going to, with 24 gigs of RAM, that's going to run us $2,500. That's including Apple Care. All right. I mean, and even graphic designers, right? Like what I'm using now is a MacBook Air. I have a studio at home, a Mac Studio, but 90% of the time with my traveling stuff, I can multiple applications open, including Photoshop, right? And Premiere, InDesign, stuff that I use for graphic design. So I don't know why anybody would complain. What you're going to hear is people saying, well, my cousin's brother's boyfriend's son works in IT and they think we should do this, right? And you'll hear variations throughout your professional life. Leslie, somebody's going to come up to you and say, I don't know why you guys don't do this, because I read in an article that the best outreach in Twitter and, Twitch is this and this and this. Have you tried this? And, look, at all suggestions are welcome, but nobody gets to tell us what to do. That's the best thing about it, right? All right, so now we've covered the 2 points, right? Which is the mandatory 2-step. Next, the iPads. Now, Rodrigo asked me an interesting question, which I don't know why you asked me and not Giovanni. But this is basically what I want about the iPads. All you have to do is launch the iPad, go to settings, right? And in there you have the Apple ID. It's usually CIC-iPad 10 or whatever number. But the point that I want both of you to do is to sign out. It may ask you for the password, and this is the problem that we have, right? So you're going to create either a doc or a spreadsheet and start by saying, okay, the first iPad that we tried to sign out of, it asked us for the password. If you don't know the password, then that's what you have to tell me. Because you can go in, Giovanni, and I'm not sure about Leslie, you may be able to, and change the password. You can do that. And you guys, I know that Gio does. I don't know. Can you change passwords, Leslie?
I'm not sure. Like on my own laptop?
No, on somebody else's. Like
No.
Giovanni can literally reset the password for anyone in the organization. But you should have the same permission, right? In terms of computer talk. So I will check it out, right? And then we'll do a training for Rodrigo also. So the point is just that. So you guys can solve this problem for all the laptops that all the iPads that you have, Rodrigo. Specifically, the answer to your question is you should be able to sign out of Apple ID. The Apple ID is that email address that starts with CIC for the iPads, right?
Got it.
Mhm.
All right. And if you don't, then you write them down, right? It should all get done in one day, right? Like, in other words, both of you guys are, in my mind, you're trying to, every time you can't log in, you type it on your laptop, right? In the Google Doc that you guys did, so you can do it simultaneously on one document or spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, Giovanni, who's the only one that we for sure knows how to change the passwords, changes them all to the same password.
Change the same password.
This way you ain't got to memorize different. Remember, all we want to do is sign out successfully and, to get them out, right?
Mhm.
All right. So once you do that, you sign out, then they got to go to Micro Center, right? That's it. And then we're done. And then and only then you guys send me an email and say, delete all these emails. There's 90 emails, right, that are CIC, right, iPad. So that's what I want to get rid of. All right. All right. Next. Okay. Why don't you have do you have a laptop already, Rodrigo?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I didn't know why you guys keep sharing the screen.
It's because we're in the same. We just
Yeah,
decided it
we
was more
just-
efficient.
No, and that's okay. That's okay. I mean, that makes sense, right? I want to make sure that you have the tools to work with, right?
Yeah.
All right. Having said that, I want to nominate you to be a crash test dummy. Anybody know what a crash test dummy is? Leslie?
When you test something on someone,
When what?
when you run a test on someone.
Yeah, yes. The commercials you see, Honda, everybody's saying, "Oh, we're the safest car," and then you see a dummy, a mannequin, crashing, into a wall, blah blah. So this is what I mean by that. So Matt says that he's fixed the issues in our image. So I want Giovanni and Rodrigo to take Rodrigo's laptop, right, and stick it in configurator to wipe it and put the new image. Now, having said that, if you look at the notes, not Rodrigo, Giovanni and Rodrigo in the agenda, right, you'll see that there are a couple of things, right? What we asked Matt to do, he says he did, is number one, you're writing this down because I better never hear this as a question. The remote desktop controls are going to be ready. They'll all be checked off. Remote management. Remember, we don't want remote login. It's remote management and all the boxes under there. Check. Number two, ABG and Canva should be installed automatically. Right?
Hmm.
All right. Number three, this is the first one that should have Google single sign-on. That's SSO. What that means is, you know how you sign in, Leslie, to your computer first thing in the morning? Or at 12, whenever you get up, Having said that, you should be able to log into both with one. You log into your Mac and your Google account, your email, with the same password, and it should open up automatically. All right, so this way it's one less password to remember. Okay, and it brings you up and running right away. That's what Google single sign-on or any single sign-on means. All right. All right. Next, remote desktop. And you guys told me a couple of days ago, but have you checked to see if you have remote desktop, the application, in your applications folder? Can you check that? It's for Giovanni and Rodrigo. And maybe we'll end up getting one for you, Leslie. And all that, the remote desktop allows you to, Apple remote desktop, allows you to control remotely another person's computer just by knowing their IP address, right? Which you would call them and ask them, here's where you get it, right? In network settings, in system settings.
No.
All right. Do you have it, Giovanni?
Well, I don't have it. And also Rodrigo didn't have the binoculars icon on his laptop.
No, but that won't happen until you re-image it.
Oh,
The
okay.
the binoculars icon is built into the new image for everyone. In other words, so
Okay.
so that makes our job easier, right? That's the point.
Right.
Okay. All right. Next. Yeah. Binocular. And that's what I meant. I purchased 3 licenses, both of you and Matt, but I'll buy one for Leslie because that may help. Where am I? Here's the meeting. Oh, and by the way, Matt is already talking to the Mosel support team about, apparently there may be a script where we can take, for example, Alejandro's account when in the cases where there are no admin accounts on your computer. Remember, and he can, I think, if I remember correctly, the Mosel people are telling Matt you can add the PRCC admin by running a script in Mosel. So I just want to make sure that that's the case. I know he's in email conversation with them. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Sounds good.
All right. Next. Okay, remember there was a point where some grant application or something with Juan and Xiomara didn't know and whatever, and Giovanni and I were trying to help, right, log in, but because the admin password didn't work. So keep in mind that Matt has reset it to what you see on the agenda, right? The letter 0, O, capital D, IV, 26. That should be true across the board for the Macs. Remember, Mosel is only Macs. All right. Having said that, we want to make sure that if there are any more problems, I want Xiomara, and this is on you, Giovanni, find that email where she thanks you and me about Juan, trying to help Juan, but she resolved it. In the end, I think Juan was his own administrator, right? So he didn't need an admin password. It's his password, okay? But find that email and tell her that this problem is solved. That everybody, because remember, in the email she says, I don't know if it's another problem, but sometimes the admin password doesn't work. Okay, with Max, Nat has made the admin password again, all one, right?
Okay.
Which brings me to the other point. The only exception to the rule is if they're not connected to the internet, because that's how Mosel works, right? So if you have people that have laptops that shut them down and take them with, right? We want to start by the second week of January with an internal message that says, please leave your laptop up and powered on. You don't have to be signed in, but you have to be powered on, right? This way, if you look at, Matt tells me, if you look at the Mosel control panel, 68 users need software updates, right? They can go on. Mac can program them for like from 7 to midnight, as long as they're on.
Does that include if you put them in sleep, or is sleep still considered off?
No, you have to, they have to be powered on. We can wake them up because there's another box in system settings that said, let network activity wake up from sleep.
Okay.
Okay, so that's all fine and dandy. All right, let's go on to the next. Single sign, yes. Okay, Xiomara and Leslie. Okay, I think that you are here and have not done it. Am I right? This is going to be like the epic 3-month journey with Geo. Okay.
Yeah, so for the drone footage, I tried looking for it, but I couldn't find it. So then I reached out to Matt to see if he knew where it was. And he said he has it, but hold on, let me read the message.
This is good. See, this Gio Rodrigo, this is a good example of what we just talked about. Hold on, why? Because she doesn't remember exactly, but she doesn't want to make the mistake. So she's referring back to the email or the text.
He said it was recorded with his card, but that it was already formatted with no backup.
Okay, how long ago was this text?
Oh, I sent it today.
Okay, no, that's okay. So at least you're scared enough of me that you think, shit, I know he's going to ask me that. Let me text him. The bad thing here, people, is we have drone footage that we just completely lost. And Matt's text just says it is formatted. It doesn't say who texted, who formatted of us. I assume it's him, right? But that's my point about backups, right? Leslie, especially you and Xiomara, I've been on this shit for at least 3 weeks, right? About uploading the drone footage. Xiomara in front of you guys has said, oh yeah, I'll do it next week. I'll do it next week. And all of a sudden we're here and we don't have it. And we'll never have it because it's already been formatted, right? That's the point, right? We have to do things in a way that says, okay, I didn't do it, but I got to do it because you never know. Who the hell knew Matt was going to format the fucking card if Matt did it? I hope he did it, because if not, that means Xiomara did it. Then we got to kill her, chop up the body in small parts and make sure it's never found, right? So having said that, now you know. Lesson learned, please communicate that to Xiomara, and we'll check that off our list in a bad way, okay? All right, okay. Next. Labos template. Again, some of this stuff, it sounds like I'm complaining, people, but I'm not. Xiomara was going to send me the PDF, right? I asked her for the PDF. I never got it. But part of that is just for my records. Having said that, did you guys post that issue already?
Which,
The one with the lighting, you know, of the flags.
I'm not sure, but I can go in and check.
Okay, go in and check, and chances are no. Why am I saying no, Leslie? I'm not picking on you.
Just because I'm not sure if it's been uploaded.
Well, no, not only that, because you're the one that does it. In other words, you're right to say I'm not sure, but chances are, if you didn't do it, it didn't get done because you've already done the last one. Remember, I corrected the category thing with you and said that's why they don't show up on the front page, and then you went ahead and corrected it.
Yeah.
But that was 2 issues ago. Now, one issue, if you don't, it's not that you have a bad memory. You're saying you didn't do it because you also said in the same way, I don't know if it's been posted, which is a different question. I understand, right? But chances are it's not done because you didn't do it, right? So you got to learn to think logically. And if that's true, then put that on your list of tasks to get done, especially because I know it's a slow time around the holidays. People take off. So in other words, you guys are not as busy, which is why I want them to do the iPad thing. You post the newspaper. Any questions, you reach out to me, we'll get it done, which means the other thing while we're on this is the training for Rodrigo in WordPress. All right. Hopefully by next issue, every 2 months, he can start. You can train him, Leslie, right, and how to post the newspaper. So then that becomes part of his regular responsibilities. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, the event checklist. Now, I assume in these meetings that nobody's lying to me because that would be bad. All right. So when people keep telling me, specifically Xiomara, that she's going to upload the event checklist for every major event to the link there, so they'll all be in one place, but it's not there, right? What does that mean? I don't think it means anything evil. It means, again, we're not organized. Each one of you and me are not organized enough. We may be organized differently, but you can't keep telling me, yes, I'll do this in a meeting, and the next meeting you come back and saying, oh yeah, you know, you've got to figure out a way. That's why by writing it down, right? You're slow this week. I want the newspaper posted. I want the iPads done, right? Because otherwise it just seems like you'll never get past stuff. All right. All right. Let's move on. Next. Okay. Do you guys know when the next meeting is? The next, ¿cómo se llama? This program directors meeting? Is there an email? Okay.
Would that be the 10th?
The what?
Would it be the 10th? Because I know you told me you wanted me to get the analytics report done by January 10th.
I think that is true. Giovanni and Rodrigo, do not be so quick to nod your head no. That may mean you don't know, but it may also mean you're not paying attention to the PRCC emails because everyone gets that email, right? Because it's the all PRCC list. So just because you say no and it's a fact, it's truthful that you don't know, doesn't mean that you shouldn't know, right? So having said that, I think you're right. I'm going to ask for a space to speak at that because I want to beat people up, well, program directors up around 2 things, right? One is their lack of writing, right? Like the e-newsletters. And secondly is what? The Canva users. We're not getting ads. Fucking ads are there from the 50th anniversary of the Culture Center, right? Or they're just old ass ads. And we're letting, this is how I see it, we're letting these users, PRCC staff, use Canvas, the professional license, not even the free license. All right. What are we, by that I mean comms and PRCC, I don't think we're asking for a lot. We're saying, Leslie, take what you design and just make it a different size. That's it. We're not saying do something for us. That's my problem. That's how fucking lazy these people are, okay? That's what I want to say to them. I'm going to say to them, right? But, it just, the other part of it is, look at, never ever in my earshot use I'm overwhelmed or I'm so busy. Both of those doesn't mean they're not true. It means that what? There's always an answer to how you organize yourself, your time management and priority management. It's okay to be overwhelmed because once you realize you're overwhelmed, then you can organize your way out of it. You make your lists, right? Look I got lists. I got 2 or 3 lists, electronic. I go through one of these every 2 months, right? That's my point. You check shit off at night, you write more shit in the morning, right? That's how you get organized. People will always try to change up your game. Oh, Leslie, I'm sorry, here's a phone call. I need your help because I don't know how to do this. Giovanni and Rodrigo, my computer doesn't, do something, right? And it turns out the fucking battery is drained because they left it unplugged, right? But the point is just that you may have to interrupt what you're doing to go help somebody. And maybe it's less when we have Apple remote desktop done, but sometimes it's a stop in your routine because you plan out what you do, or you should be. All right. All right. Next. So let's confirm the date, Leslie. Email me once you confirm the date, and I'll ask, I guess, Juan for 5 or 10 minutes, because those are the 2 points on my agenda, Canva and writing. All right. Next, Rodrigo and Giovanni, I want to start planning, and this may take a little longer, but it shouldn't take that long. I want to redo the design for Puerto Rican resources, and which I've already started, right? And also Puerto Rico town brochure. Puerto Rico resources, I'll get if there's any more information, because I think the information is there. I just want to reformat it and add pictures, which you said you were going to do, right, Giovanni? But the other part of it is the Puerto Rico town will be working with Honorio, right? Because that's his baby. I just want to update it because it's kind of old and it's not, not that cool looking. All right?
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Next. Okay, update on onboarding and outboarding. All right, here we go. So I'm meeting with Maria Collado at the end of next week, the 5th, I think, of January, because I've updated the onboarding and outboarding, both the checklist. So we're including, I want you guys to know in advance, 1 or 2 days at least, because our people still expect that we have computers for everybody. It doesn't mean that we can't. We just don't have that inventory, right? So I have to order it and hope that there's not that big a wait, but I have to order it. And I only know to order it when I get the email from the onboarding, right? I only know to do the business card, which I'm happy to pass off to any one of you 3 when we get the onboarding, right? Because that has a title, blah, blah, blah. We only know where they're going to be sitting in what location and the software they'll need when they fill out the onboarding, right? So that's my point. This is how they can be better to us, both HR and the program directors. As long as they filled it in, right, then there's less of a chance of that bullshit about, oh, I forgot, right? Or they need a more powerful computer. Bullshit. This is what you sent. This is what we did. All right? All right.
Alejandro.
What about what?
Oh, so this is relating to inventory. So we actually got 2 MacBooks ready to be out. I don't know if you want us to save it or should we redistribute it to people who've been requesting a better
okay.
one?
No, instead of using Rodrigo's computer for the crash test dummy, use those.
Okay.
Got it.
Rewipe them with configurator and then contact me separately, right? So we don't need this meeting to do that. But once you do that, then let's go through it. Did you raise your hand, Leslie? Oh, because it felt like either you raised your hand or you wanted to threaten me, like with a slap or something. Te voy a maldito sea. So, all right. So here we go. Next. So you got that, right? All right. Here we
Yeah.
go. Tech purchasing policy. I already mentioned that. I'm responsible for doing the profile. I'm going to do a list of profiles. They're not going to be that complicated. There's like 2 or 3 on the Mac side, which is a desktop, an iMac, and then a MacBook Air and a MacBook Pro. I don't see anybody at all, except Xiomara, Leslie, right? And that's it. Not even me or you guys getting a MacBook Pro, right? Something that's sort of, it's heavier, but it's beefier, right? You're doing short videos, you're doing a lot, you need increased hard drive capacity, fine, right? An argument could be made, I don't think it should, but let's say Leslie wanted an iMac, which is just as powerful, but it's a desktop. You know, your point is you got to be able to do stuff on the move, right? So, either way, but the point is those are the exceptions. Everybody else, and finance, of course, gets PCs, desktops, not laptops, right? So, and the other stuff I think is going to fade away as it gets older. Like either we end up buying new Lenovo's for Ricardo Jimenez's program once they get, 4 or 5 years out, if there's funding, excuse me, but we'll figure it out, right? My point is Macs make up the center of the computer profiles, right? Then comes, and either one, desktop, laptop, or powerful laptop. Then there's Fiscal with PC desktops. Then there's Ricardo's program. There's nowhere in this diagram that Chromebooks exist. Why? They're cheaper, they're lighter, right? You can do a lot with them. The problem is they're not individually owned, right? We need to be able to administer, like we're doing Apple Remote Desktop for the Macs, or I'm doing TeamViewer for the Fiscal team, right? In other words, remote management. We cannot be buying different remote management software because they want different laptops, right? So even if it's more expensive in the immediate, like a MacBook Air instead of a Chromebook, a solid one is $500. That's a laptop, right? And maybe it's $600 if you get a desktop. But it doesn't matter if you have to, if my team, you guys, have to go to that office to look at it. That is not worth it. We don't have enough people, right, to be just walking all the way around, being helpful. But again, we could do at least 50% of what we're doing remotely. All right. All right. Next. Okay, I'm going to skip here. Website training, yes. What about, you guys have a date for the Sortly inventory?
So okay, so I finished up the Sorely inventory yesterday. We did, and there's one problem though that I was gonna ask. So there's a lot of computers in offices that like don't belong there no more. So I don't know if you want me to remove them automatically or figure out what happened to them or like.
Okay, so this is a question for all of us. So Leslie, what do you think? It's not a trap, I swear.
That's-
You guys think this out. Here we are in an organization that doesn't necessarily take care of its computers. Giovanni is describing a situation where we don't, and this is not necessarily our fault, but we're responsible, right? Because we're the IT team. We see unused computers that don't have owners, in other words, staff. Do we leave them there or do we bring them to the office? Not everybody all at once. There you go, Leslie. And you must be a straight A student because you're the only one answering. Of course, you bring them to the office and you find out you literally in a sticky or in a notepad. Today we brought 2 computers. This is what they are. We asked the program director, whose are they, right? It doesn't matter if Alejandro, who's the program director, says, well, that person left, but keep them here. We can use them. I'm sorry. Your response automatically is, we're going to take them back and you can have that conversation with Alejandro, or we'll tell Alejandro and you should email him.
Yeah.
But I don't want any equipment that's not accounted for to be used, to be left in those offices. Got it?
Got it.
All right. So that's my point, right? There's at least, from your spreadsheet, there's at least 8 pieces of hardware, which you guys should be thinking these are the other crash test dummies.
Okay.
Right? We should be using all this stuff to test what we have, right? Because on one hand, the pluses are many. We get, for the next user, we have a computer that's ready.
Mhm.
Right? That's my point. That's the biggest thing. Am I putting you to sleep, Leslie? Because you are like ready to fade out. You know, and I know you've been up early, you know. All right. So tech policy is already done, in process. Okay. My frustration, and I think I'm going to end up going to Juan Calderon as the big boss, is I've been dealing with Comcast, as you know. I don't know if you guys remember, but it's been very frustrating for literally the last 6 months, from July 11th, when we said we wanted to do what was called the portal, right? We want to build one network of all the storefronts, right? And then once it's all together, then we are able to say, okay, let's everybody to Comcast. Everybody should have this speed. But right now, everybody's bugging us. Some people don't bug us. Some people bug us a lot. Oh, it's too slow. But we can also have a better chance of what? Figuring out network speeds. My idea from the beginning was this. We embarked on this project because we want to put a 4 or 5 hour limit on IP addresses. In other words, after 5 hours, and let's say, right, we're going to fix it so it automatically kicks you off if you're on the PRCC wireless and puts you on again. But the point is, this kicks out all the devices that are not ours, because you know people are bringing their private shit, right? And as much as we try, like my rules would have been or are, you guys have to sign in people's laptops and desktops that are PRCC. Every storefront that we have a network in will have a guest network. It won't be connected to a printer or anything, but they can, our guests, if they're funders, or if Leslie has 2 phones, a PRCC phone and a personal phone, she can put her personal phone on what? The guest network, right? This way it doesn't slow down the PRCC network, right? So it does mean we're going to be a little more careful with us people here in this team putting people on, right? People may say, oh, what's the wireless? I'm sorry. Once it's on there, it stays. And you can check off the box that says you need an admin password to change it, right? So we can get a handle on this problem. But Comcast they're horrible, right? So 6 months, they've kicked me to 3 different people, and everybody starts the same. Do you want internet? At what location? We got internet. We've been paying internet for years, right? This is what we want. So anyway, it's a nightmare. But I say that to Juan because Juan may know somebody about like a boss at Comcast, right? That will kick me to and say, hey, this is a special project of one of our clients that we give some money to, because I'm telling you, it's just bad, just really bad. I could swear, but it would be really bad. Let's see. Okay, I think that's it. What else you guys got?
Yeah. I just had a question. I was gonna ask you if we should or can start an sign-in sheet for the inventory. So whenever someone borrows equipment from the bag, they just sign in and they put in the information. Or
okay, what is that? What? Give me an example of the equipment that would be.
well, the cart, projector. We have like cameras, stands, speakers, any type of equipment. We have.
Okay, so I would say yes, but you should do a spreadsheet, right? And then we should gangster an iPad from somewhere, because that's how people should sign the equipment out. And you should also develop, by the next meeting, a checklist internally. So I borrow a projector. You know that I have the projector and the parts that go with it, a cable, blah, blah, blah. I return the projector. What do?
Inspect them.
Inspect them. But you don't know all three of you should be able to look at a list and say, check to make sure the cable, that the prongs aren't bent, that it still plugs in. Turn it on.
Yeah, because that's
Right.
what we
In
did
other
with the
words,
projector too. We noticed that the screw was missing because, like, in the back piece of the projector, it kind of like messes it up a little bit when you expand it, and like
no,
we
no,
also
I get it, right? Because Giovanni told me, and I told him to send out the email, and he did. But that's my point. Because at
Yeah.
some point, somebody's going to return some shit to you, and it's
Mm.
going to be broken. And it's it was working when I got it. And again, I don't want to fix blame, but I want to be able to say to Juan, the last people who had it were from this department.
got
You
it.
need to get me money to buy a new one of them from their funds.
Okay.
All right.
Also had another question.
Okay. Everybody stop. The next year, the new year, never ever say, I have a question. Or worse, I have two questions. Or can I ask you a question? Right? None of that. Just ask me the damn question.
All right, so I received the email from Janice. Is there an update on the program emails that link to like one program specifically? Because
Repeat that again, please.
yeah, so Janice she emailed me about if there's like an update because I remember I brought it up to you like months ago about like creating an email that reaches out to every employee within a specific.
Yes, and you were supposed to update it. So that's the other thing. I really appreciate you and Rodrigo, but it seems like you don't have a focused idea of what a spreadsheet does, right? So after you and I had the conversation and I brought it up, you merged the two spreadsheets, right? The old list of people with two devices and old equipment, but it's not quite there. So I want to go over it at the end of the meeting so you see you can be more efficient. So to bring it home, you asked me that question. Yes, I think every department or program should have their mini mailing list, right? Like what's preventive, what's it called? Public health. PHI at PRCC should have everybody that's employed in there, right, for comment. And if there's sub programs, depending on how many, right, people, then we can do that. That's super easy. And I can show you guys how to do it so you have permission to do it. The problem is the way you organize the spreadsheet I can't understand it, right? And spreadsheet is everything that you guys do, from what Leslie does creatively. The whole point of communication is what? You communicate a concept or an idea so even if I'm not there, when I see it, I know what you're thinking, right? So our video about the flag lighting, it got almost 100,000 views, right? It's amazing, right? But people click. Okay, so when you send me the spreadsheet, I should be able to read it and say, this is the way it is. And I'll give you an example right now with the spreadsheet, because I would never, ever criticize anything that Leslie and Xiomara were doing. No. That was a joke, okay? So everybody see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys did this. I appreciate it. And this is what you did, which is not what I thought I was asking, is you copied and pasted to the bottom. Wait a minute. Come on, you. Let me get this mouse working here. Right. So here you have PHI at the top, Public Health Initiative. But then you have another PHI. This is the result of the list, right? So you understood in a very mechanical way what I wanted done. So you copied and pasted, right? But why? My point is this. Why do we need two PHIs? It's the same name. It's the same address. Where do we create a different column, right? So we just use another column and not all of the space underneath. It's duplicated, right?
Yeah.
So that's my point, right? So here, list of old devices can go away. The department, all this line can go away. PHI can go away, except here. Where's the difference? Carmen Garcia has IMAX 0063, right? Okay. Here it is, right here, right? In other words, the same information is twice, okay? Now, you still don't give me the year of the model. Why is that?
Oh,
Okay.
we did that today. We just forgot to add it.
I thought we did.
That I did too.
Okay, but that's fine. So go ahead and fill it in, because the whole point of merging them is you're only adding two columns, the year, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to look at Carmen one time. The way you set it up, I'm looking it down. I've got to scroll and go back and forth. And there's more of a chance you're going to make a mistake. Why? Because you have to type or copy. In this case, the ID, the serial number and the name twice, right? In other words, all you want to do is be able to have one visual reference.
Okay.
Okay.
Got you.
Okay, sounds good.
We got you.
All right. So once you do that, then we have the old devices, right? This is also with 2 devices. So I can tell you right now, let's go back to, where was I? I thought I was just here. All right. So I want to take a device away from Dante. I want to take one away from Carmen. I want to take one away from Stacy. I don't know. Okay. It's Wednesday. Have you found the device for Gabriela?
We didn't.
Okay. What about Sarai?
Neither.
Why didn't you?
She wasn't even there. I don't think she was there.
Yeah, so we didn't go today. I forgot actually, but it goes back to the same issue how we were mentioning how when we do inventory, sometimes they're not there and it like conflicts between us.
Okay, but I don't believe that that's the only reason. In other words, you forgot. I think people forget. I'm not making a joke, right? Okay, but can you tell me on the list for today's things where it said check with Gabriela or check with Sarai about her piece? You can't, because you don't write things down like that. My suggestion to all of you is the daily list is okay. Look, I have a daily list. It's 3 or 4 pages long, right? But I'm dealing with the whole company here. So my point is, you guys do this. In the end, it doesn't mean you're going to get everything done. So don't stretch yourself out. But it means you cannot forget. So Gabriela's not there. Okay, maybe you call first before you went over there, right? So you don't waste a trip. That's my point about being better organized. And don't, under any circumstances, be typing Wednesday we will find the device only to say, oh, I forgot. We didn't go over there. Because that just makes you look bad to your boss.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree.
That's like, Leslie saying, oh yeah, I'll do it next week and have the updated social media template back in October, and it's December back. I don't want to bring that stuff up. See, isn't it fun like having me as a boss? I'm just all about fun. All right, next. All right, so Gaina, I want to take away a piece of computer. Clarissa, also Luis Munoz, Elton, Isa, unless their bosses tell me, right, that there's a reason for that. There's nobody that should have, what do you call it? 2 pieces of machine, right? And I noticed you don't have in this spreadsheet, Gio, you don't have Janice.
Oh, yeah, that's on me. What about?
I know that's on you. Look at it. I'm 800 miles away, and I know that she has 2 computers.
Yeah. What about iPads? What if they got? Was that still considered 2 devices or no?
Why are they lost? No, you forgot they're there. That's all.
So
Tech won't solve this problem. Because you might as well use Find My Device, which is already built in, right? And they can't turn off. That's not the problem we're trying to solve.
No, but
right?
What if they also have like iPads with computers? Is that still considered people with 2 devices or?
Nope.
Okay.
No, okay.
Because iPads can also be what? If they're not assigned to individuals, they can be assigned to departments, right? Because we went over this yesterday even. There are 2 iPads that are called HPYEEP at PRCC. I don't like it because if I were to point to who's in charge of that program.
I forgot his name.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got to have a better understanding of that. But my point is, if there's a cracked glass, right, screen on that iPad, and it doesn't have a name, it has a program name, I can go to Leslie, who's the head of that program, and say, why the fuck did this happen? I don't know. Who's the last person that used this? Because it's a program. I don't know. Right? And that's what we want to get away from. In the end, I'm going to go after the program head because they're the ones that made us do this. Right? And we're getting the money. Felix, you want to get the paper? They're the ones that make us do this, they're going to end up paying. All right? Replacing that, or the repair, whatever. But we don't want to be in this situation. The better organized we are, the better organized for them. Right? Consequences. All right. So, any questions? All right. So, Leslie, double check on that January 10th and do start updating the social media template. The next time I am in town right now may be the end of February or the beginning of March. If that's true, I'll probably come in Thursday night. No, I may come in, whatever. The point is, this is the point. I'd like to put together a 2-hour meeting with you all and Xiomara to go over most of what we've talked about here. There's no surprises, but I want to make sure that people are able to work independently, usefully of each other, right? So in other words, Rodrigo's not following Giovanni around, right? Or Leslie's waiting for Xiomara. In other words, there's a calendar about posting, when, where. Have you guys worked out the social media plan yet with the budget? Can't hear you. I can't hear you.
My bad. I already made a marketing plan, and Xiomara is just waiting for the meeting with the departments to go over it.
Okay, is there a date for the department meeting?
I think it's the same one from January 10th that they're having.
Okay, write this down. It may need to be a separate meeting because you've been in those department meetings before, right?
No.
Okay, so they're crazy. They're not well organized. There's a long ass agenda. People are waiting to get the fuck out of there as soon as they get there, right? So either you and Xiomara prep them in advance and give them the social marketing plan and say, we want to meet with you guys separately, individually, or if you want to do it there, but you need at least 10 to 15 minutes. And even then, there's no guarantee that they will have read when you send them in advance. Right. So I don't want you to be, I'm being serious now. I don't want you guys to be disappointed because people, that's the whole point of the problem we're having organization wide. Right. They don't, if it's not exactly about their program directly, oh, social media, that's your job. Whatever you do is fine with me. People have said that. Right. So that's my point. Do not give up faith that we will make these people, what's the Rock say? Plan A is you do it. Plan B is I make you do it. So I got it. That's from a movie, okay? So that's my point, right? We got to figure that out. If we're right and this is going to be good, then we got to figure it out. Sometimes it'll cost money, like I've already said. You guys should start with a budget of $2,500, right? And that includes the 6 annual events, right? But there's got to be, you guys were the ones. I had the idea, but you elaborated, you articulated that you need a paid marketing plan to grow. If the idea is to grow in Chicago and nationally in Puerto Rican communities across the United States and in Puerto Rico, what do we need to do? That's the whole point of the social media marketing plan, right? Yes, the individual programs play a role in it, but they are not greater than the whole, right? So that's my point, okay?
Okay.
Anybody else? Yes, Leslie.
Oh no, I was agreeing with you.
Okay. So, I have this in the future, like in 5,000 years, we're all dead and skeletons and, in Jurassic Park, that, in the mud, they have like the big thick footprint of the dinosaur. They're going to find Leslie's handprint and they're going to say, damn, what were the big ass nails? Oh, we got to watch out. What's up? What was that? That was deadly weapons, So, all right, everybody, is that it? Okay. Be safe. Let me know anything. If not, I will talk to you guys next week. All right?
Take care. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.